Central Bureau of Investigation has booked its own former boss AP Singh for conniving with controversial meat exporter Moin Qureshi in a major act of corruption. This part of the story is well known. It happened yesterday. Here is the CBI FIR that makes that connection. The CBI alleges in these pages that Qureshi took huge sums of money from different persons for obtaining undue favors for them from high-ranking government officials like the former CBI director. The CBI has fallen back on BlackBerry messenger chats between the two to make its damning claim. Now, Times now has accessed, as part of this FIR, several such damning exchanges on BlackBerry Messenger. Here they are, some of these conversations, ladies and gentlemen, in absolute clarity, black and white. They're all here, and they make some very strange and curious news points. Times now has accessed the exclusive copy of this FIR. It's in my hand, that lists in detail exchanges on BlackBerry Messenger between the two alleged accused. The messages are startling because in their chats, the two refer to certain individuals. These names appear as initials and in code like AP, Kenath and Shinde. Curiously, the initial AP also appears in the diary of the Augusta middleman. Let's pull up that graphic that we had on your screens, the split graphic, which shows how this one initial AP creeps up in different contexts over a period of time in the same real window. The diary of Augusta middleman prompting us to ask a basic question. So it first came in, and let's just pull out that graphic once again of the split screen. On top, the initial AP appears in the Augusta papers, and then this also appears in the context of these BBM messages. There you can see it. Code appears in VVIP chopper deal notes that were written by hand by an Augusta middleman who is being investigated and who has actually been indicted by an Italian court. At the bottom of your screens, who is this AP? AP or Kenath? There you can see that is the second set of initials that appear in the context of these BBM chats. Was he close to powerful individuals under the UPA? Is there a connection between his initials appearing in this case and the Augusta Choppergate case? And if so, what is this connection? Who is this hyper-connected individuals who happens to be everywhere? We are not cooking this up. These are based on hard facts that are contained here. The first hard fact: the BBM chat logs indicate a trail of bribes and favors. Let's pull out the hard facts. Let's fire them on the screens, because on Upfront, we like to be upfront, ladies and gentlemen. Here they come on your screens, the hard facts. The first hard fact fired. The second hard fact 2, office of then CBI director was compromised. There is no denying this. Those initials prove that. Hard fact 3, mysterious initials hint at a deep-rooted conspiracy between Qureshi, government servant, and netas. So here is the web. Hard fact 3 on your screens. We've established that this story reported by Bhavto Singh, who has been investigating the linkages after accessing this FIR with these BBMChatGate messages. This is a powerful story because it suggests on the face of it that there was a cabal of individuals, perhaps in a parasitical association with the UPA government, that was involved for pecuniary gains, giving access to all sorts of nefarious individuals, controversial individuals, and notorious individuals. I'm not making this claim once again, and I add that proviso again and again. This has been made by the CBI in its FIR. It's now submitted in the courts. Let's throw this open. What does this mean? What are these payments that are being referred to? Does this suggest, and there are some basic questions here that we are asking on the show, does this suggest that there was a deep-rooted conspiracy that ran straight into the heart of the UPA to suborn the system? Dr. Sambit Patra of the Bharatiya Janata Party with us, KTS Tulsi, MP of the Rajya Sabha with us, Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate, and Aryaman Sundram, senior lawyer, also with us. I want to first begin, not with the politicians. I want to first begin with Aryaman Sundram. Aryaman Sundram, someone on this show just a few moments ago told me that all of this is not admissible, that this is all ancillary evidence. The CBI is just trying to obviously be creative in its interpretations, and also for salacious, politically motivated reasons, because it remains to be a handmaiden of this particular government, is putting all of this out just before an election. So your response?
Well, to start with, I must say one thing. Over a period of time, there has been a certain lack of confidence in our premier investigative agency, the CBI. You know, it used to be such a often asked for request of a person who felt he would not get a fair investigation to petition the court and say this must be investigated by the CBI. Over a period of time, there have been a lot of doubts cast on the CBI, and all I can say is it's a shocker to public confidence in our premier investigative body. And one is forced to ask oneself, if we can't trust the CBI, who can we trust? And it's a very, very sad reflection. The fact of the matter is that if high officers of the Central Bureau of Investigation have been in touch with people who are circumventing the law, either people who are in the process of engaging in nefarious activities, or thereafter with people who are booked for having indulged in such activities, either way it augurs very badly. And as far as I'm concerned, the evidence, as you put it, what the value of the evidence will be from various sources. For one thing, I can very easily say that if you have evidence to show that there has been a communication between two people, it is definitely evidence as to the communication which was being made and the fact of such communication. An inference thereafter has to be drawn from other evidence. But you cannot say that this is totally useless evidence which can never be used. I'm sorry, it is definite evidence for a fact that two people have been in touch with each other, that they have communicated about certain things, and it is definite evidence. That's my view.
It's germane. Is it politically motivated? Sanjay Hegde, KTS Tulsi, in that order, before I bring in Dr. Sambit Patra. First of all, Mr. Hegde, is it politically motivated? Is the timing suspect? Or should we accept for once and for all that there are elections that will continue to go on for long periods of time? There are also politicians and there are political parties. And there are elections that happen at every stage, and we can't keep hiding behind this excuse.
Well, every politician who is suspected of anything will say it's politically motivated. And as you rightly put it, there will be elections all the time. So we can't go beyond, we have to look beyond the political motive. Let's put it on the footing that there is a political motive. The questions, however, still remains. Was a crime committed or not? Does it require an investigation or not? Now, obviously, when you have details like this, ordinarily I would think that an investigation would be called for. But these days we are often told that, you know, diary entries are not, no investigation is required, they are not admissible. We are not yet at the stage of what is admissible or not admissible in court. All that I am saying is that we need A, proper investigation, B, an agency to do a proper investigation, and C, most importantly, faith restored in our investigating agencies. The CBI has been called a caged parrot. I have called it the Central Bureau of Investigation, which is allied to whichever party is in power in the center. It is time for the CBI to prove that it is truly independent, give a thorough investigation which satisfies the nation.
Okay. Give a thorough investigation. KTS Tulsi, your response, sir.
Well, I think these are shocking revelations. And there is 500 hours of BBM conversation which is recorded. Obviously, we don't know the details. But whatever has been put out by you clearly shows that there is an offense of screening an offender.
Okay.
It may be worse. If there is further evidence collected that it was done for money, it will then amount to an offense under the Prevention of Corruption Act also.
Is there a doubt,
many more offenses.
Is there a doubt?
No, no, no.
People are being referred to people in positions of authority, I would presume, sir, or people who could get things done. Now, it's only people in positions of authority who can get things done. And this is what this says, and I'll just read out to you. During the course of investigation against FEMA, 1999, against AMQ group of companies and Moin Qureshi, it is revealed that he has been indulging as a middleman for certain public servants. So certain individuals come to him who have a vested interest, they approach him, he's a conduit, he gets in touch with certain public servants, and you have a situation where favors are done, and there is in these BBMs references to cash. Now, why would Moin Qureshi be giving cash to the daughter of an ex-CBI director who is being referred to in certain other terms in other BBM conversations? So obviously, sir, and then this daughter turns around and says, thank you so much, Uncle Moim. You're making me rich, so rich, so rich. So, you know, there is obviously, sir, some sort of money that is turning hands, and it seems to suggest that there was a cash for favor scandal. The analysis of records disclosed the commission of cognizable offences. That's why this case is on. Now, I want to ask you, who is this AP that pops up in Choppergate, pops up here, pops up there? What is happening? Who is this AP? Who's Kenath?
No, no, no.
You're a connected, so you're very connected, you're a connected lawyer. Who are these individuals?
Whoever it may be, if I take your name, you don't become an offender.
Okay.
You see,
I buy that.
The question is that these, you obviously know more than what I know. I only know what you have shown on the screen. And these BBM messages, I haven't read the FIR. So you may, but don't take a long jump. I'm saying that mere contact between a CBI director and an accused who is under investigation by his agency would amount to an offence of attempt to screening an offender. And that's an offence.
Let me read out, sir. Let me read out before I bring in Dr. Sambit Patra. Let me read out. This is important. Since you are saying that you haven't gone through some of this stuff, let me read out. On 24th of September 2013, at 11 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Moin Qureshi, sender pin is also identified, receiver pin is also identified, sends a message to AP Singh, the man on your screens. He says, sir, please look into the issue. I spoke to you yesterday. I just got a call from DIAL. Also to have it cleared, ASAP, thanks. The conversation then proceeds. In the third BBM, this is what Moin says to AP Singh. He says, sir, we will have to handle it very carefully because Asif office has issued advisory note against NATA. And this, someone in engineering, probably their old partners in India who are in Mumbai. I believe Asif is in Jeddah. We'll find out when he's back. And I'm also preponing, this is what he says, my trip just to the homework now and wait, then we will see how to tackle it in the meantime. Just see who all he listens to, maybe AP or Kenath or someone else, also any of your close friends who know him well. Regards. Then AP Singh says, okay, let me know when you're coming back. You may need to go through Shinde. So here is an individual who has left office as CBI director but is still advising this individual on who to go through. Then, listen to this. Sir, I'm trying to come back by Monday, but in the meanwhile, can you send my CEO to you tomorrow to explain you? You must understand first. And then he goes on to mention other people. Should you talk to GMR? Question mark. So, sir, this is pretty detailed. Now, these are individuals who can get things done. This AP, this Shinde, this Kenath, who are these individuals, Mr. Tulsi? How does one ascertain the names of these individuals, connect the alphabets to names and faces? That's the question. I want to ask that to Dr. Sambit Patra first, because Mr. Tulsi, you've said that you didn't have access to all of this. I'm reading out to you verbatim. It's also on our screens. Dr. Patra, come in on this one, sir. Dr. Patra.
Yeah, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate our government in the center. Congratulate because of the fact that it did not stand in the way of an investigative agency proceeding against some of the tallest people of the country, and former CBI director is one of the most important person of the country. So naturally, like the previous dispensation, The ones who should not be protected were not protected. Remember in the Ashok Chauhan case and the Adarsh Ghotala in Maharashtra, the previous dispensation did not allow the governor to proceed against, to allow the CBI to proceed against Ashok Chauhan. But this government does not stand in the way. So let me congratulate. Secondly, the irony is both these people, remember Moin Qureshi as well as the former CBI director Mr. AP Singh, both of them were rewarded by the previous dispensation, though the first raid against Mr. Qureshi was done in 2011, if I am right, after the marriage of his daughter Parnia. Despite that fact, Mr. Moin Qureshi was rewarded, his companies flourished, he was close to some of the top ministers in the country, and Mr. AP Singh was rewarded with the fact that he was made the UPSC committee member, which he was forced to quit in 2015 when his final name cropped up in all these things. So both these people were rewarded. Our government is a different government. Third thing, as far as AP and K. Nath is concerned, look, as far as K. Nath is concerned, though I am not a lawyer, but we have lawyers in this panel, two prominent lawyers, they would agree with me that there is something called as corroborative evidence. And K. Nath, I can say, stands for Kamal Nath if I draw from the corroborative evidence, because in one such message, because I am drawing from Indian Express. The Indian Express has a detailed report on this, and they say that in one such message, Mr. Moin Qureshi requests the former CBI director, Mr. Singh, saying that I want a membership out of the way for the Gymkhana Club, and the only person who can help me in this is Kamal Nath. So all you have to do, Mr. Singh, is give a call to Mr. Kamal Nath, who is a minister, who is very influential, and who will get me a
serious charge. BJP has dropped the first
name. And then
Mr.
Singh replies saying that, well,
BJP
yes,
links K. Nath to Kamal Nath, former union minister. That's a big revelation here. Everywhere. You have made the connection, the first political connection in this case, Sambit Patra. Dr. Patra, I'm asking you, sir, in all responsibility, are you going to be able to prove and back up? Or are you also now, sir, doing this politics by insinuation? Simple question to you, Dr. Patra, today. Should we not wait for the investigator to tell us?
No, very true. Good that you are asking this question. You are right. You are right that we should all wait for the investigation, and definitely we have no other option other than waiting for the investigation to conclude and the courts to react to that. But the issue is, since we are debating and discussing, no one is convicting Mr. K. Nath or no one is convicting this AP. All we are doing is we are drawing our own ways of conclusion through various corroborative evidences. And since there is a corroborative evidence in form of the same BBM message, which states that Kamal Nath is the man who would get you the Gymkhana Club membership. And in fact, if you would remember, there were newspapers replete with this article that Moin Qureshi enters into a controversy when he got one Gymkhana Club membership out of turn. It's very difficult to get Gymkhana Club membership out of turn, but he did get Gymkhana Club
Tulsi is raising his hand. He wants to come in on this. He wants to respond, sir. KTS Tulsi, are you being shy? Are you being shy despite perhaps having an intrinsic knowledge of this case, dropping names? Will you corroborate? Will you say that Dr. Patra, this corroborative link that he is making is tenuous? Or would you say, okay, I can understand that there is some truth to it?
It means nothing. Dr. Patra is only trying to blow the trumpet prematurely. We have to wait. Merely my saying to somebody that you can get a Gymkhana Club membership through so and so doesn't amount to an offense. There will have to be further investigation, and if anybody is found to be involved, they will be prosecuted. But stop taking long jumps and blowing trumpets. We haven't even started the investigation. Perhaps the FIR, I don't know whether it's today's or yesterday's or when was it registered.
Dr. Patra wants to respond to you, sir.
For this government, yes, but for this government, only the law exists for the opposition. There is no law
only exists for the opposition,
which applies to the BJP ministers. There are clear cases of Prevention of Corruption Act which are shoved under the carpet. No action is being taken on them.
Substantiate, sir. Substantiate. Who are you talking about? Substantiate. You're making a charge of selective action. Who are you responding to? No, who are you talking about? Come out, sir, with the facts.
How did Lalit Modi go out? Who are the ministers or the chief ministers who helped him obtain certificate after obtain documents?
Okay, Dr. Patra, you know where that is going.
Who are the
It's a leading question. You know where that's going. I also want to bring back Aryaman Sundaram into this. Yes. Dr. Patra, response, sir. Selective investigations, selective leaks.
I just want to make a quick comment.
The charge of Mr. KTS to CS. Go ahead.
No. See, I am astonished. Though I respect Mr. KTS Tulsi as a senior lawyer, but he should not see all this through the myopic vision of politics. He's a senior lawyer, so he should know that Lalit Modi case went to the court. It is in the court, and what did the court comment on it? In fact, you would be astonished to know that the court took an adverse comment on the previous dispensation, saying that the previous dispensation did nothing for all these years. Anyhow, let's return back to the topic. That too many coincidences.
Court, because the government conceded the case.
These are just coincidences.
This government conceded the case.
Sir,
this
let's
government
not interfere
conceded
each
the
other. Sir, let's not interfere each other. This is a very serious. Mr.
I hope
Tulsi,
you also know that
Tulsi,
that government, that the High Court judgment was on the basis of concession.
Mr. Tulsi, you'll have your own
okay,
turn.
Look, this is not a court of law. Gentlemen, this is not a court of law. I want to bring in Aryaman Sundaram. Aryaman Sundaram, here is a case where names are being dropped in the course of a conversation. No, 1 second, gentlemen. I don't want to get into this because, sir, this is actually, this is very sensitive ground. Some of these matters are either in court or they are almost getting to court. And I don't want to prejudice via this medium. And sir, you know that the voice from the media carries very fast. So we have to be careful. I just want to roll back this conversation to the point where I want to bring in Aryaman Sundaram. Aryaman Sundaram, I want to ask you a simple question. Applying your mind to the facts that have appeared, do you believe that there is a case here to investigate these individuals whose names have been mentioned in these BBM conversations, or should we disregard all of this and say this is all hearsay, no legal tenability?
Look, at this stage, the BBM conversations per se is not the issue. The fact is that there is an investigation going into Moin Qureshi himself, what all he has been indulging in. There is an investigation going into various issues. Now the BBM, and let's be very clear on this, if I am going to send you a message in which I refer to a third party's name, it is no evidence against such third party at all. Merely because I tell you I contacted Mr. So-and-so and Mr. So-and-so said he would do this for me, does not prove that Mr. So-and-so was either contacted by me or that he said he would do it. It's not evidence against him. But it is certainly grist for an investigation mill. This, coupled with the other factors, can all be taken into account to investigate the matter further. And at this stage, that's all we're dealing with. Is there room for investigation? And in my view, there certainly is room for investigation.
Okay, room for investigation, important point. Would Sanjay Hegde agree? Or would he say, let's be circumspect about these BBM conversations? And I leave you with the last response, sir.
No, of course, any sort of information which needs to be investigated should be investigated. But it should be done fairly in a non-partisan manner and as non-obtrusively as possible, so that if there is something to come out of it, the people at the end of the investigation do not get warned in advance. But frankly, what happens is that the investigating agencies these days seem to get their kicks out of leaking things to the media, saying, okay, even if we investigate and then finally if they put up a case in court,
this is not a leak. We don't think
we are good enough. We do not think we are good enough for a case to stand in court. So instead of that, let's leak it to the media.
No, now you're sounding like Donald Trump. I'm sorry to say, you're sounding like Donald Trump, who keeps complaining about leaks. This is not, no, I'm sorry, this is not a leak. This is not a leak, Sanjay Hegde. This is an FIR that has been filed.
Exactly what is
it's now a legal document. Well, let's talk about this case. I don't know. I don't want to get into giving clean chits or impugning investigative agencies. You might have more experience.
I am telling you that this is what I have much more experience, and ultimately,
I know you do. I know you do. But this is a fact
on your media
hard facts only on India Upfront. Ladies and gentlemen, hard facts only on India Upfront. I don't mess around with my facts. Here are the facts for all to see. I can put out copies of this on our Twitter handle for the world to read. They make for fascinating copy. We leave it at that. We move on. There have been other developments in the nation today. Let's have a quick look on India Upfront at some of the other big stories. Thank you for joining me.